I am 𝗖𝗓𝗓𝗧𝗪. I am Director of Community Engagement here at the Niagara Falls Underground Railroad Heritage Center.
My name's 𝗪𝗓𝗡𝗖𝗧𝗪 and I'm the Public Programs Coordinator here. I make all your dreams come true. No, I'm joking. The Public Programs Coordinator, I basically help bring together my team to think about what the community best needs when it comes to educational programming and events, even events that empower our local Black community as well. So we're consistently coming together as a team, which is always fun to do, to think about what kind of events we want to recycle, or even come up with new and creative events that would really continue to educate our community as well as empower them. So as we discussed earlier, it's definitely not underground, it's a metaphor. Now, the Underground Railroad came about due to the institution known as slavery here within the United States. It pushed many individuals who believed in the abolition of slavery to create this secret network of people and places, of course, that aided other Black individuals into freedom. They were either freeing themselves, freeing, loved ones, or there were individuals who were abolitionists who aided within that, liberation period. So whether it was a safe house or just being brought to another person who served as a network and a resource of information to ensure that you or maybe even the family that you were with were safe when escaping slavery.
So our Niagara Falls Underground Railroad Heritage Center is a cultural institution, and we celebrate Underground Railroad heritage that happens specifically here in the city of Niagara Falls, which is some of the most important history that the Underground Railroad is known for.
The Niagara Falls Underground Railroad Heritage Center isn't your typical museum that you'll see. It's really a community space. It's also a space to come and learn about local history specific to the Underground Railroad and the agents that were so important and crucial to it. And agents referring to the freedom seekers that you kind of see behind me. You see kind of glimpses of them. Household names such as Harriet Tubman, of course, but very uncommon people that aren't celebrated in mass printed in textbooks, such as John Morrison, Cecilia Reynolds, and so many others. So we're here to kind of put a megaphone to those freedom seekers that aren't spoken about, who aren't known, who aren't household names, who should really be known across the world, honestly.
Our Niagara Falls National Heritage Area opened in May of 2018. This year, we're going to be celebrating 5 years of being open. So we're going to have a lot of celebrations around that milestone with our institution. So the mission and vision of our Niagara Falls Underground Railroad Heritage Center is to not only celebrate Underground Railroad heritage that happened here specifically in the city of Niagara Falls, but also to highlight those stories of freedom seekers who lived here in the city of Niagara Falls, who were everyday people doing extraordinary things. A lot of times when you talk about history, people think of it in the perspective of events that just simply happened in the past. We show the relationship of those historical events and how they give you insight into a lot of the present day events that we see today, and willfully inspire people to be change makers in terms of being the same type of everyday people of the past who are doing those extraordinary things to address social issues that we see today that also existed during that time period. So this space is more of a safe space for people to learn more about themselves, about one another, and what they could actually do to be change makers in today's society. There are so many impactful stories that took place here. Keep in mind that Niagara Falls is literally the last stop of that journey from the south to the north. The only separation between slavery and freedom is the Niagara River. So this was a place or a precipice for many people who were seeking freedom, and the community here, people of African descent, as well as people who worked here and traveled through here, played an instrumental role in helping freedom seekers get across to the Canadian side. We say freedom seekers and not slaves, runaway slaves, free slaves, escaped slaves, because when you use that language, you refer to a slave as a person's identity, when in reality, these were human beings who were enslaved. So the most appropriate way to describe a freedom seeker is an enslaved person. A lot of the stories that took place here in the city of Niagara Falls revolve around a site known as the Cataract House Hotel, which was built in 1825. It burnt down by a fire in 1945, and this was the central location of a lot of Underground Railroad activity through the agency of the head waiter, John Morrison, who was able to successfully coordinate his staff to live double lives as secret Underground Railroad agents. A lot of our Heritage Center stories are based upon the agency of John Morrison and some of his staff members, such as James Patterson, another gentleman named Lewis Hamilton. There are a lot of people that people have an opportunity to learn about that were basically hidden in the annals of time until our research were able to uncover these everyday people who have done these extraordinary acts of service in terms of aid and freedom seekers.
I think the ones that have stuck with me the most are really the ones here. Just a bit of background as to who I am. I'm originally from New York City. I came up here for college, and New York City is considered the melting pot of the world. And you would expect to have a very enriched education coming from New York City. But when it came to Black history, all that they really taught us was Black individuals who escaped, went north, and that's it. So coming here myself and learning that individuals crossed into Canada was mind-blowing to me, because that was never part of the narrative that was taught to me and my peers. So to come up here and learn this brand new history that's always existed that educators neglected to teach us, it changed my entire outlook and kind of how I felt about history. So learning about the waiters and how amazing they were to be individuals who either formerly escaped or were free individuals, and they're aiding their fellow brothers and sisters into liberation was something that wasn't taught. And it was very empowering as a person of color to hear of these stories, because we're typically told about, well, here's the white abolitionist who frees the Black person. But no one ever talked about the fact that Black people were freeing themselves every day. We only ever hear about that with Harriet Tubman, and it's like, she's the only one. Yeah. But there are so many others just like her that have gone out and freed hundreds of people, but no one ever knows that they existed. And this place allows these stories to be told and brought to life, which every story, I carry it with me.
In our space, like I mentioned, it's experiential. So it's built to meet people exactly where they are. Whether you're a professor at a university and you have a background in history, or you're a 6-year-old child, there's something that we've created in this space for everybody, no matter what their experience is in terms of learning the story of the Underground Railroad. I took a guest into the space one time, and we have an interactive in there where we have Mahalia Jackson singing a spiritual song, and the woman that was in the space broke down and started crying. And she didn't expect to hear that song when she came into the space. And when she gathered herself and I had a conversation with her, she had mentioned that Mahalia Jackson was her mother's Sunday school teacher. Oh, wow. You know, so I've met some people who've had some experiences here, and that's what we strive to do, you know, for people to come into the space and to learn a little bit, but to leave that space with a sense of empowerment, knowing that there's something that they could actually do today to be a change maker. People can support, number one, by becoming a member, and there are various different things that come along with membership to our organization. They can also support through ticket sales, as well as supporting our gift shop. Our gift shop, we have different items that come from local businesses. We're an advocate of localism as well, so we make sure that all of the things that we supply in our gift shop, we're able to support local businesses. So those are some of the ways that people can support. We also have a number of Black History Month events that are going on throughout February. People can go to our website at Niagara Falls Underground Railroad, 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗧.org, and they can check out our events tab and see all of the various events that we have going on, and they can support that way as well.
You can get a membership, you can donate, you can show up to our events, sign up for a newsletter, you can email me to volunteer for events. There's so many ways to kind of help out. I always say that you can reach out to any one of us on the team. And really see how you want to help out, and we're willing to meet you in the middle.
Okay. And you mentioned becoming a member. How does someone become a member, and what does that entail? What do they get with that?
There's 3 tiers of membership that we offer. So there's the neighborhood membership, which is absolutely free, but it's only available for residents of the city of Niagara Falls. We do require that they come in person to redeem their membership. With our 2 other memberships, there's an individual membership and a household membership. And all of these have a variety of different perks, but those 2 you can either do in person with our lovely staff at the front desk, or you could do it online too. And it allows you discounts for programs and events if there are ones that are available in our retail shop, which is always growing, and we always have all kinds of things, even for different seasons. And it allows you to know what we're doing on a consistent basis too, because you automatically get signed up for our newsletter.
One of the things that is unique about our Niagara Falls Underground Railroad Heritage Center is our signature Freedom Conversation Tour program. Typically when you go to museums or other different type of spaces, you have docents and they kind of walk you through the space and show you everything and what it means, and they do most of the talking. Our Freedom Conversation Tours are based around facilitated dialogue. So people have an opportunity to engage us when they come to this space, and we simply utilize our installations and this immersive experience as a backdrop for conversations about difficult topics around social justice or police brutality, culture, history, different type of things that people oftentimes don't have the safe space to talk about in their own homes. But they can come to a space like this and learn about stories of freedom seekers of the past and learn that these are the same type of freedom seekers that exist today, because everyone has a journey in terms of coming from one place to another location and they're everyday people, but we utilize this as a backdrop to help facilitate those type of conversations for people to actually unpack and process some of these things that they may have not had that type of space to talk about these things in. So that is something that people really enjoy, and it's very unique about what we offer to our guests that come here. And usually when people come to this space, they think that they're just coming here to learn something. But in so many instances, since I've been here, since its opening, I've met thousands of people who've been able to contribute to my own growth and development by sharing their own stories. For example, I met a family a couple of years ago that in their 60s just learned that their last name was not what it originally was. And they shared with me that their family immigrated here from Ireland, and because Irish people were discriminated against, they literally changed their last name so that they could assimilate into the society and have an opportunity to thrive, for people to support their business, because if people knew that they were Irish operating that business, they would not support them. So this was a family who they did not know that their family changed their name for generations, and just learned that, pretty much as they gotten older, but being in this space, it gave them an opportunity to have that type of conversation, and for me to learn from it as well and to share it with you. So I've met people like that from all over the world who felt comfortable and vulnerable and open enough to share about their family journeys as well. It may have not been a journey to the Underground Railroad, but it might have been a journey of indigenous people from one territory to another, or it might have been a journey of an immigrant family that came from this location to here, but it's something that we could all relate to, and it's a universal story of freedom.